being said, I'm not informed.
We'll call this budget meeting to order at 6:32 p.m.
Okay.
Mr. Callen, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just a few housekeeping things to reiterate. We always go through the budget meetings. This is our third of 4 budget meetings. Ground rules, although the 2015 budget meetings have been legally advertised as required, the public is invited to observe. Budget deliberations are among council members and staff only. Public has no input during council budget discussions and deliberations. Public will have time to review an eventual proposed budget effective December 18th and offer comment up to and including the special council meeting on Tuesday, December 30th, starting at 6:30 p.m. This December 15th meeting starts at 6:30 sharp and ends no later than hopefully 8:30, if not before. Following this December 15th budget meeting, adjustments will be made to the 2015 budget working document in time for a revised working document for the 4th council budget meeting on Wednesday, the 17th, starting at 6:30. Backdrop, just to remind council and the public, is that 2013, as you know, was a difficult year for this community. 2014 was a bit better, but not much because of the carryover into 2013. And having said that, we did lose approximately $250,000 in 2013 of RAD money because budgets were not completed on time. Budgets are now completed for 11, 12, and 13. For 2014 and 15, the minimum municipal obligation for pensions totaled $1,072,014. 2014 has been paid, 2015 is budgeted. We are currently in deliberation regarding $242,000 of previous police pension obligations that have not been paid. And due to malfeasance of previous administration, we're on the hook for roughly $80,000 of penalties with the Social Security Administration. Hopefully they can be resolved, but at this moment they're not. And we also have a penalty of $21,000 to the State Department of Revenue for the same reasons. Our workers' compensation has increased drastically to the tune of about $430,000 per year. So that is the dire financial backdrop going into 2014. Your previous budget documents that were reviewed during the first 2 budget meetings have been amended. And we were using September 30th budget numbers for revenue as well as expenditures in the prior meetings. The document you have in front of you this evening, the light gray document, is updated. We are now able to have our revenue actual as of the end of November, which puts us in a much better position than we anticipated when we were looking at the September numbers. Also, we have more realistic expenditure numbers in 2014 that give us a better guide of what our expenditures will be in 2015. Having said that, on page 5 and 6 of the summary sheets of both the revenue and the expenditures, I'm happy to say, at least this evening, I am presenting a balanced budget under a few assumptions, and I'll get into that in a moment. But if you look on page 5, it says at the top 9:30, you should read that 11:30, that says of November 30th. We received better than $4 million in real estate tax revenue, both current as well as delinquent. That was actual as of the end of November. So we are projecting into 2015 roughly the same amount of money in revenue. Matter of fact, just a little bit less, about $70,000 less. As you can see, if you look at the actual compared to the 2015 proposed in the last 2 columns on the right, we look as of a week or so ago, about $7.4 million of revenues received, actual received. We project in 2015 that we will receive about $7.5 million. Just $100,000 plus, a little bit more than in 2014. On the expenditure side, on page 6, we show as of the end of November, better than $7 million in expenditures, using all the categories as you see. And going into 2015, we're looking at expenditures of about $7.5 million. The big difference between those two numbers are salaries, of course. The cost of road salt is increased by better than $100,000. We have two other debt services that we did not have before. So roughly, if you put all that together, it's about $500,000 more in expenditures. But if you look at the anticipated revenue coming in compared to the anticipated expenditures, right now I'm looking at a balanced budget. Now you may ask what changed from the last meeting to this meeting. A couple things. Number one, our budget numbers are more accurate because last time we were looking at September numbers. We now have accurate numbers for November, a better gauge to predict. We also discussed a couple possibilities. The last meeting we were looking at possibly up to a $3 million increase. That has gone away under the assumption that, number one, we would increase the garbage tax. We had a discussion on that at the last meeting. Direct your attention to the expenditure side on page, on the revenue side. On page 16. Page 16, we see in the notes on the right-hand column, the solid waste fees. Our fees right now, as we speak for 2014, it's not shown on here, as you well know, is paid by the end of the first quarter. In 2014 was a flat fee of $120. Had not that been paid at that time, there would be quarterly payments of $40 per quarter, of about $160. It is proposed to at least cover our solid waste costs, and this does not cover entirely all of it, but it does bridge the gap from revenues to expenditures. That $120 per year be increased to $180 per year, paid by the end of the first quarter of 2015. If not, to go from $160 a year if paid quarterly to $220 per year if paid quarterly. And given that increase, and we're looking at roughly 3,500 units where garbage is picked up, that we're looking at an increase from $490,000 to $630,000 a year. Also, which has impacted the budget, is that the police have agreed to a UPMC health plan they've had right now, but it's just a little bit less than benefits at substantially less cost. Had the police not changed that, we would have been paying $75,000 a year more than we're paying now in 2014. We do not yet have an agreement with the Public Works, although we have a tentative agreement subject to council's review Wednesday night in executive session, that the Teamsters at this point have agreed to my proposal of a reduced cost health plan, still with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield that they have right now. Just a little shade less in benefit, but a substantially less premium cost than what the Teamsters 205 would have charged. Almost a third of the cost savings. So increasing the garbage fee, reduction in healthcare costs, as well as the anticipated revenues as we receive this year, projected in the next year, we have a balanced budget.
Wow.
If the numbers play out.
Right.
If the numbers play out.
I have a question or two, Bill.
Right.
Was the police freeze for next year and the following couple of years spreading 3% over, is that being taken into consideration?
What the mayor is referring to is that the police have, gave me a letter on Friday saying that they were willing to take a pay freeze in 2015, and to extend the contract, which actually ends in 2015, to extend that another 2 years. In 2015, according to the contract, they have a wage increase of 3.2%, already factored into the budget, and would defer the increase in 2015, but in 2016 would have a 1.5 increase, in the following year 2% increase. I took that into consideration. That savings of roughly $44,000 a year. I don't think we need to do that.
Well, as an alternative to raising the
That's,
garbage, to 180, maybe we could raise it to 160 or something like that. Rather than, I don't like to see too many items addressed, let's put it that way. Like we're nitpicking or something.
Well, I have a question. On page 5 and 6, you said these numbers were as of 11/30, and it shows 9/30. Is that a misprint?
those are the ones I was printing out when you came into my office and messed me up.
Hey, I'll take the blame. It says 11/30, right?
He said that.
Yeah,
It says 9/30 on the sheet.
That was a typo, but as of November 30th, that's what
Okay.
you have.
So the question then that comes to light is, we have how much money in the bank?
Right now, as we speak, before payroll on Thursday and before paying bills, roughly $500,000 to $600,000. Payroll will be roughly $110,000. We have bills right now of about $70,000. We do have one more payroll. Actually, it should be January 1st. Since that's a holiday, it will be the 31st, and it'll probably show up in your 14 books, but at any rate, that will be another payroll of about $100,000.
Two payrolls.
We will have a carryover, I think, of about $200,000.
So about 300,000 to be spent this year. We go out.
We do have, I have a question mark there, because we may obviously go out on the tax anticipation note. I have a question mark there, because it will be about $800,000, but essentially that's in and out. Get us by the first
Well,
quarter.
maybe I missed it in this, where you're under something else, but I don't see no, the code enforcement, not salary for the code enforcement.
We put that under administration now. We removed that from the police budget.
Yeah,
Is that a separate,
It's under, and I'll show you in a minute. It would be on page 28.
oh,
That was
okay.
last year.
It's on 40, chart account 413 toward the bottom there.
Nice.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Bob, I mean, I'm still open to the idea of the pay freeze for the police. You know, these contracts are pains, just even extending it another year, I don't know, I mean, we've already adjusted their health care. Just to help out the budget, I don't know, I mean.
Well, I thought that was kind of I thought 44,000 was on the low end from the numbers you gave me last week. I don't have current numbers, all I got is page 5 and 6.
I mean, that includes the chief and the whole line down, right?
Yeah, I'm looking for my spreadsheet there.
Why would you do it though, if you don't need to do it?
It's roughly 40. That's not counting overtime, it's not counting the holiday pay.
On a holiday pay, and that's built right in, see,
I mean, it's
But I
an
didn't
offer
do it.
they're making, and if we can lower the garbage fee to 160, like the mayor says, to the 180.
I mean, I was all for it if we were gonna be short and we needed to do it, but if we don't need to do it, why would you do it?
no more than willing to do it.
I mean, if
They're
the guys are
involved.
willing, I mean, we're just extending their contract 1 year. It's not like we're gonna get hit for 2 raises next year, we're still gonna just take the 3.2 in 2016,
They're spreading the,
they're not
they're
taking.
basically
He's
spreading
spreading the
that 3.5,
3.2
they
over
get
2 years.
January first over 3
I
years.
think it's a damn good deal.
I like it. I mean, right now I'm thinking I like the idea.
That 44,000 might buy you a road paved somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it could be an extra road and. Or it could just be some emergency funding we put away and buy a CD. That's my opinion on it, you know, I don't.
It's certainly up to council.
Yeah, of course it is, of course.
Well, what category is our RAD money in?
That would be on revenue,
Yeah.
sales tax.
So it would be
It
lumped
would
in.
be on page 16. Chart of account number 361.62, I guesstimate $200,000. As of the end of November, we collected almost $188,000. Should have another payment coming in. I have my police spreadsheets here, I thought I did, anyway, for 2014 and 15, showing the cost and the difference only in salary, not counting fringes or
The holiday
or
pay.
holiday pay, just straight salary is $44,000 difference.
The holiday pay is automatic, it's built right in, so I mean, I would include that as well. It's
I
probably
didn't,
another
but I did.
25 grand.
I understand. Yeah. So, hey, Bob, I'm sorry,
The purpose of these meetings.
what did you say about the RAD money now, page, on page 5? What's the?
Page 16,
Okay,
did I say 16?
yeah,
No, yeah, page 16, chart of account far left, 361.62, it says county sales
county
tax.
sales tax, okay. Okay. That's good charges for services.
I'd like to make a proposal.
That's what we're here for.
I could propose that, 1/3 mill increase to cover what we give to the library every year. Since that was, voted on by the people.
What's 1/3 of a mill?
1 mil, about $110,000. 1 mil roughly is 330,000.
So
1/3 would be roughly 110,000.
Well, what we need to do, I agree with you, Rich, that it needs to be shown as a library tax. And I revisited that with Lloyd Cunningham. And I actually last year looked at it with Stasco, because both Homestead and West Homestead broke that out and showed that there's 1/3 of a mill dedicated to the library. And apparently that's the way it's supposed to be shown. It doesn't mean it's an increase, but if this budget's balanced without a tax increase, and we're looking to remain at 10.75, we should show that as 10.45, or
Yeah.
10.42, and a 0.33 library tax is how it should be shown when we advertise the budget. And then that way, if we ever move to go into a fire tax, like Portview did, that again is a dedicated number.
That sounds reasonable to me, Mayor.
Because we're not proposing an increase here, we're
No,
proposing
we're
a
just-
balanced budget, at
We're
10.75, but people need to know what that is.
We're modifying, which we do, and I'm sure we'll have further modifications before the end of the year, slightly. Good job, Bob.
I also want to point out, there was a discrepancy at the last meeting on legal fees. For those of you that were here, we had showed roughly, I forget what the number was, $265,000.
292.
$292, yes, thank you. We looked into it further, and a good part of that is legal tax service, which was miscoded because that was their fees on the collection of real estate, delinquent real estate, garbage, delinquent garbage, as well as processing for sheriff's sales and those kind of things. So I think I broke it out here. On page 26. Page 26. Toward the bottom, we will show the solicitor retainer at $12,000, legal costs at $60,000, and legal tax service about $270,000. Now, that was for real estate, garbage, delinquencies, and sheriff's processing.
And out of that 270,000, what percentage do we get? Or 263,000?
Well, their fee gets covered by the cost when they take somebody to court. So they add their legal fee, the consumer pays that legal fee, and we get face value plus interest.
But, what did you say?
Hmm?
12,000 for the retainer, or was the rest 60?
60 for regular lease. On page 26.
I don't have that, all I got is this two-page thing.
Okay, that's on, by design.
Here,
I thought when Greg sent us those numbers that it was up, actually. I thought that it was
Well,
like
that's,
97 or something.
that's actually,
taking
Well,
at least free.
We are already budgeted as legal, I just broke out that 292.
Okay.
Right. But that's still, you're showing actual year-to-date at 324. So it just looks like the 61 is low for the actual, because I thought the number he sent over to us was that it was 97, because there was some carryover from 13 as well.
I used the spreadsheet that we got from Binders.
Okay,
There's one or two payments we did not make,
okay,
we deferred.
all right.
Can I back up a little bit?
Sure.
We had mentioned police freeze, so on and so forth. What's council's feelings about it? We don't need it, or do you feel it's a good idea looking into the future? Because I happen to believe it's a good idea looking into the future and to give us some wiggle room for other things. And I think the police were damn generous in doing it. And I know Bob mentioned he didn't feel we needed it, but at the same time, is that what council's feelings
So
are?
we've talked about the recreation budget too, I'd like to see that happen, maybe just a little bit more put in the recreation budget also.
I think that's a good idea, I don't see nothing wrong with doing that. You know,
Maybe we talk about possible cameras, maybe it
I have a little bit more.
fills.
Police are willing to do it, they have no problem with it, why not?
You got my opinion, right?
Now, based on that discussion, if council's inclined to do that, we should further define what that number is and what's the basis for the number. The difference of 44,000 I gave you is just wages. Wages without overtime, extra duty, holiday, and longevity, which is part of their contract.
To me, Bob, I got a lot more than that. I mean, I talked with some of the guys and all that, and we were talking around $100,000 for.
Exactly, if you look at what the total amount that the police are being paid in 2014,
Go ahead.
if we go by their contract, a 3.5% increase, the difference is $44,000 total cost.
Okay.
Like I said, I did not include overtime, extra duty, longevity,
You did.
or just straight wage.
Oh, he did not?
No,
Okay.
if you want to, fine. What we have to do is, on Wednesday night, we have to submit a proposed budget for public review. And then on the 30th, we have to enact the actual budget, assuming there's no changes at that time, plus the ordinance to set the millage.
But again, that's where your modifications come in too, Rich. At that time, I mean, you can modify, anytime you want, really, till the end of the year.
Well, I think you guys are really missing the boat here on this. I think that we should be looking at the cost of garbage, what it costs to operate the garbage, and I think that's what the fee should be. And that sort of brings the budget into focus here a little bit much better. And really what you're talking is a $20 increase from $160, or from $120 to $180.
That's $60.
That's $60 increase. But if you pay it early, that's the difference of paying it late. So if someone's paying it,
That's $720 a year, Rick, to an average homeowner.
no, it's $180 a year, Ray.
You said from
From 120 to 180.
From
$60.
$60 a month.
No,
No,
it's
it's a year.
I mean,
that's a
I mean
year, for the year.
$60 a year.
It's $60 a year.
Okay, okay.
And I think,
Okay.
I think honestly, from $180, if you're gonna pay that, versus if someone's paying it in quarterly, it's only $20 difference from someone paying it quarterly, for them to step up and pay it in the very beginning and pay it $180, which is not an outlandish fee at all for garbage.
I thought it was 40, 180 to 220, right?
It is, it's only $40
Right.
different. It's $55 a quarter.
If you pay it quarterly, you're paying $160, is that right?
Right now.
No, if you
It's
pay it up
180.
front,
Quarterly is
you
40.
pay it up
Quarterly's
front, it's
$220.
60.
Quarterly's
You spread it out.
$220.
Quarterly is 220, right.
Want me to run that by you again?
Would you speak that
Yeah,
again?
right now, without any changes in 2014, the fee is $120 if you pay it by the end of the first quarter.
Right,
If you don't pay it by the end of the first quarter, the annual cost is $160.
that's right, that's
Paid
what I said.
quarterly at $40.
Right,
Proposal is that to increase the $120 to $180
that's what I
a
said.
year, is paid by the end of the first quarter of 2015. If not, then it's $220 for the entire year. Divide that into four, whatever that is, 55 or whatever it is.
Right, and that's what I was saying. If someone puts it out and pays it out quarterly, look, this year, they would have paid $160. Now, we're proposing next year, if they pay it the beginning of the first quarter, whatever that date is, it's $180.
It's only $20.
It's only a $20 difference. So, then,
If the people pay it, up front, then it's a $60.
$60 difference.
Right.
Versus paying the old quarterly,
Correct.
it's only 20.
Correct. but it's not that much of a burden on someone if they're paying it quarterly anyway, to pay it all at one time in the beginning of the year.
Well, how many people pay it quarterly versus the all at once?
I don't know.
I don't think that number, Rich.
Jump to do all at once.
Let me ask you.
I think it's a minimal fee to pay for the services we're getting, honestly.
And I agree, it costs you $160 dollars to, do the service. And, yeah, I'm all for that, I just didn't want to see under 80, that's all. I
Well,
think it's a little-
Pat, can I ask you a question, since you know a little more about the police contract?
Yes.
If we extend the contract a year, what are the terms of the extension? The same as the current year?
The
If we
current
extend
CBA, I
another
would say would just be
3.2%?
Yes,
I would say it would just be extended. They've already conceded on the healthcare, they're willing to concede on the wage, spread what they have due January 1 over a 3-year period.
All I'm asking is that it would be the same terms as the terms that we presently have for this year.
I would have to say it would be.
Okay.
according to what is written, he said it would be a freeze, a total freeze, so it would be the same as this year. and then.
That means the remainder of the contract would stay intact.
Would stay as,
Would
at
stay.
3.5. And that's the
Right.
salary increase in the final year was 3.5, is that
No,
right?
it would be 1.5 in the second year, 2 in the third year, and nothing in the first. So the 3.5 that they already had coming to them, they would still get, but it would be broken, spread over.
Over
a
2 years,
I
it's
understand.
1.5 and 2.
Right,
But what is the percentage increase in the extended term? That's my question. What is our cost for the final year if we extend it? I have to think it would be the 3 point whatever it is again.
no. They're saying, I mean, I have the copy on my desk. I think,
Could
I'll
you
have
get-
a copy
Could you
out
get
to you.
it so I can see it?
It's,
I thought I had it downstairs.
I'll run down and grab it.
Wait a minute.
I don't know how anybody can say they're for
Wait a
it
minute,
before they
can I read
analyze
it?
what the cost
Can I
is.
read
And what it is, 15, no increase at all.
Right.
There's, now it's, their contract is up the end of 15. So what they're saying is extend it 2 years. So 15, 0 increase,
1.5.
16, 1.5,
2%.
17, 2.
No, that's incorrect. For 16, it's 2%. For 17, it's 1.5.
Okay,
Okay.
It's
And
reversed.
then you would, they would just renegotiate after that.
I mean, if what you're reading is, what I'm hearing, if that's right, I like it.
So, yeah, instead of paying 3.5 January
That's
1,
what it is.
you're spreading it out over 3 years, the same
I mean,
3.5.
even if we do keep the fee, I'm not saying lower the garbage.
They're gonna get 3.5 anyhow, right?
Maybe 3.5, but they'll get
I understand, but you're gonna
They're
go,
willing to spend, they're willing to spread it out
2017.
over 3 years.
right, 0,
0, 2,
1.5.
1.5, or 0,
Zero,
1.5, 2.
2,
I'm sure if you went
1.5.
back to them and said 1.5 and 2.
And then you
whatever
don't
want.
negotiate your contract till 2017.
Correct.
For the next contract effective
Right.
2008.
Did you run any numbers on that?
What numbers I ran was the difference of just plain wages, 44,000.
But that's not counting the overtime, the holiday, which is guaranteed, it's built right in. The longevity wouldn't really make a difference because there's no percentage in that. That
Essentially, it's
goes
the
by
same
years of
numbers we have
service.
this year.
Right, it goes by years of service. I would say just, I don't have a calculator in front of me, I don't have the full budget in front of me, so I would say 70,000 would probably be accurate. Do you agree? Somewhere near 70, once you include everything in it?
That's what I thought.
When you look at the police budget, when you look at the expenditures, when you look at the longevity and the holiday pay, and that, the 3.5% was already built in, because
Right.
if we did not go with that proposal, we'd have to live with the contract, which says 3.5% wage increase, which incrementally would go into longevity and holiday and overtime. So whether
Like I
70 is,
said-
it'd be more than 44,000.
Right, that 1.5 or 2, I'm sure if you asked them to flip-flop those back, whatever way you wanted to do it, they wouldn't care.
You know, I think that it has promise. I'd like to see what the numbers are. If we could get those numbers calculated, then I think we can make an educated decision on what to do with it. Sound fair enough?
I would suggest that I sit down with the union reps to make sure that, there's devil in the details. I don't want to assume anything. I want to make sure we pound it out for one.
Sure.
Sergeant Folder will be in tomorrow.
I'm
We'll have to
sorry,
sit
but
down.
to me, Dan, and again, guys, the 3% over 3 years is a hell of a sight better than what we have proposed.
I'll second what he said. The devil's in the details, Mayor.
And
Let's
here's
look at
the-
the
here's the-
details.
Here's the fear, at least me and the mayor spoke about this, Bob, and I spoke about it briefly. If you don't come to an agreement with them, or if this doesn't happen, they take their 3.5 January 1. They're gonna negotiate, if they can't negotiate, they're gonna go to arbitration. Arbitration's given 3% pretty much across the board. So the 3% compound that you were just talking about last week is a pretty real thing for the next 3 years, if we would do
We're
that.
actually putting it,
I'd just like to get the $242,000 in pension funds. Then we'd have a $240,000 surplus this year.
Good luck.
the numbers you're saying though, Pat.
Well, I mean, I hear all this talk about, man, they're doing everything for us, they're working with us, but the big elephant in the room is $244,000 that we fronted to the pension fund. and you guys don't wanna pay it.
The thing is,
That's not the big
can we
elephant.
ever get that back because of the
It's not the
malfeasousness
big
of a
elephant.
prior manager? How can we put that on them?
Yeah,
I mean, is that, what's the chance we ever get
Here's
that back?
the feeling in the
That's where they're gonna
police
say
department.
it.
It's that 5%, everyone knows that 5% could be taken every year, any year. It was
Right.
never taken. You know, and I guess what their lawyer told them is go after your, errors and omissions insurance. Because
It's not a compensable claim, Pat, it's just not. And so, when it comes to insurance, the lawyer doesn't know what he's talking about.
I don't know, like I
I
said,
mean, that's what I do.
I can't tell you that they are willing to pay that, because I know for a fact they're not. That's why they're going through all this litigation.
How much are we gonna spend in attorney fees compared to,
We might spend 10 or 20 grand to get, 240. I would have hoped that they would have negotiated a settlement like the Teamsters did and said, hey, we'll pay you half. And we offered to do that. And we offered to take it any way they would pay it over a period of time. And they basically said, no, it's all or nothing. So we're already, the taxpayers are already at the $242,000. So we have nothing at risk here.
And what I can tell you, I'm not a part of the bargaining unit. I can tell you in talking to the bargaining unit and what their lawyer told them, and what you read in Act 600, it's illegal for them to pay any more than the 5% they're already paying. It's against the law.
That's for current.
It doesn't, it's not addressed.
That's for current.
Right.
That doesn't say if there's an administrative error made that you can't pay more than 5%. We're not asking for more than 5%. We're asking for people to pay what they were supposed to pay when they didn't pay it. It wasn't their fault.
It was never, it could have been taken from them at any time. It was not.
No, don't say it any time, but we can start taking it now.
This is
So
not the
you'd be
issue what we're here
violation of
for.
I understand that, but it's,
You'd be
This is
in
not the
violation
issue
of
what we're
law.
here for.
Right, and
So,
that's not my thing.
I think that we need to skip that issue.
that's fine, let's move on.
Since I am the finance chairman,
That's right.
if I had the gavel, I would gavel you both you down. The thing that I'm looking at, and I don't know if you guys are, and I don't know if I'm wrong to look at it like this, but the reason why the contract extension really should be looked at is because of what's in the contract.
Right.
And, the police department pays zero for their health benefits. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Correct.
So that is the big gorilla in the room. So what happens next year when the health insurance goes up again?
Right.
That's my
Twice
question.
in the last 4 years, they have switched health carriers to lower it. I think the last time was in excess of $100,000. This one was 75. They're willing to work with you. They moved it twice in 4 years,
Yeah, it buffered the increase.
by a lot.
Right.
So,
But there's nobody else out there that pays zero into their health care. Everybody should have some skin in the game. Even the teachers pay into health care.
Like I said, you gotta talk with them on that.
I think what Rich is saying is that our current contract says that there's no increase. If they want to extend it 2 years,
It's 2 years you go without any contribution. So what's the healthcare cost this year for the police? What was the number?
$315,000. That includes vision, dental, that's
Right.
all.
So if we were to ask for, if, to put it in dollar terms, if we were to ask for and negotiate a 2% contribution on healthcare, it would be $62,000, and they're offering a contract extension that we save $44,000 if we take it.
It's gonna be more than that. It's gonna be considerably more than that.
I understand that. But there is another number there, which is 2% or 3% is $90,000. It's something that we have to consider. Obviously, that's why the rank and file would like to extend the contract a couple of years and not have to contribute to healthcare, because that's what's in it. Oh, good point, Mr.
Bob, what's the
Brennan.
healthcare for public works?
For Public Works, minus their contributions, about $114,000. The Highmark plan that we negotiate is 1/3 of the cost they're paying now.
Yeah, what are they paying now?
You wanna add this
They pay
Yeah, our
4%.
number and their number are,
114,000 plus 122,000.
126,000.
250.
Did they ever look into Aetna?
We did look, at
wasn't
United, we
cost-effective.
looked at Aetna, we looked at Health America, and at least with the broker that we worked with, and they were higher than what we had.
anyone outside of UPMC and Highmark are battling right now. Anyone that you can get that will take both of those, they know it. They know they got everybody, so their premiums are pretty high.
So to answer your question, yes, we did look at that.
I was just saying, because we switched from Highmark to Aetna, and exact same coverage and $6 million cheaper.
Who's we?
Port Authority.
Oh. Got a good deal that first year.
I'm just saying.
So anyway, getting back to Mr. Brennan's point is, if we're gonna negotiate or try, if we expect to negotiate contribution to healthcare in 2016 in the contract negotiations, that could offset what we're gonna save, or a large portion of what we're gonna save in the freeze.
Well, I think it needs to be mentioned.
Well, here's what I'm gonna
It
tell you.
is a big
If you go
number.
to arbitration, and I bet any money, if you renegotiate this deal, you will go to arbitration. They may make them, they'll probably make them pay, a couple % to their health care, but they're gonna compensate them in dollars. It happens every
I'm
single
not,
time.
you know what, wherever it falls, I'm not afraid of arbitration.
I know,
They've
what
been
I'm
doing
telling you is
contracts here for years because of the threat that it might go to arbitration. It goes to arbitration, it goes to arbitration. That's what, we're with the Civil Service Commission, and whoever loses, they're not gonna be happy. We'll appeal, the police union will appeal, and we'll go downtown in front of a judge. And there's nothing we can do about that. But I think we can't be afraid of the remedy.
I'm just telling you, I think you're gonna end up spending at least as much, if not more, with, but-
I'd like to see a total number, what you're saying though, with the 44,000 that Bob's saying, plus the number that you're looking at for longevity and overtime, what the total savings would be. To me, the two, splitting it up over 2 years, I think it still would be a better deal for us.
Spread it over 3, basically.
We can wait an additional year, to get into
From the last meeting to this
health
meeting,
benefits.
there's a drastic difference. We ended the last meeting by looking at possibly $3 million increase, or maybe a $2 million increase with 3 people being laid off. The budget shows that no one's gonna be laid off and no real increase.
That's fantastic.
So I guess the question is, do we take a look at what the police are offering and reallocate that money somewhere else, or reduce the budget?
I mean, I think there's other areas in the budget we can look to put some money, recreation for one, just a little nest egg, just a little extra money for rainy day fund that we wanna someday start developing here.
What's the status of the study and the grant for the study?
What Dan's referring to is the early intervention program, ECED application that we submitted a few months ago. We did request proposals. The proposal we decided to go with was $52,000. According to the state, it's 50-50. I argued to the state that we can't contribute any more than $7,000 a year. We're okay. We pleaded our case based on the statement I made at the beginning of all of our costs. The holdup right now is that we have a 2012 grant closeout report that's incomplete. According to DCED laws, they have to be cleaned up before any new contract will be executed. It has to do with a grant of $35,000. Essentially, that was to go towards some police facility improvements. We have everything documented with the exception right now. The only holdup is, I'm just gonna make this number, $10,000 was to be appropriated to a new floor. The money was used for new lighting and something else. So I have to justify why we used it for lighting and something else and not the floor. And it's on my plate to do that this week.
Well,
So
just
subject
tell
to
them, just tell them that if you didn't put new lighting in, you couldn't see the floor.
I will play by case, but where we're, assuming that we get our way, we're probably looking at February, we'll start that analysis, which will go into about August. And essentially what that will do, we'll do a complete methods operation of all of our departments, as well as do a 5-year financial projection based on anticipated revenues and expenditures. More than likely, you're gonna have expenditures and revenues, and then they'll come up with recommendations over the next 5 years to bridge that gap. We're not required to live by it, would be fools not to. So I'm hoping February. So I think what I'm hearing is that to take a look at the police proposal, is that correct?
I think we should run the numbers and take a look at it.
Take a look
and
at the
that'll be
details.
discussed in executive session on Wednesday night if we're ready to do that, if we have the numbers.
We will have executive session at 6 o'clock, there's a number of items we need to go over anyway.
Getting back to garbage, is there any way that legal tax can give us a number to see how many people paid full amount up front?
We could get that, I did talk to them today, we have roughly 2,900 people that are delinquent over the years. We'll see, they should be able to come up with a number.
2,900 delinquent?
I'm delinquent.
That are paying delinquent costs for garbage that have not paid on
I
time.
bought my house on the last day of the year, and they charged me for being delinquent,
A quarter.
so I'm delinquent. The 29th or the 30th, I bought my house, and I'm delinquent. Never picked up a garbage can, but I'm delinquent. Something needs to be remedied about that whole delinquency thing. But that's not budget talk.
No.
I certainly think we need to, I'm firm a believer that we need to, whatever that budget fee is, that's what it should be. I'm all in favor of that, and the numbers show it. The numbers show that straightened the budget out quite a bit.
Actually, when you take a look at the expenditures in health and sanitation compared to anticipated revenues with the increase, there's still a gap.
There's still money there, and that's okay. It's not 100%, but it's close. What do the public works pay for their health care? They are contributing a percentage,
They're
correct?
paying by contract 4%. And anticipated with the next contract will be the same amount since they've agreed to a lesser cost health plan. So it's 4% of their,
Of their plan,
4% of the premium cost with it.
of their
And
plan.
they agreed to pay half of their pension money that wasn't collected.
Over a 2-year period.
Right.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes, that's in the memo, that's what they negotiated.
Well, that's what
Harvey
we
and-
talked about, and then they took it to their guys.
And we don't have agreement yet.
No,
We'll
no.
discuss it further on Wednesday night.
Well,
Now,
I'm,
granted, we only deduct 2% from that, but then they only make half of what the police make too, so, but I thought they put their best foot forward on that.
and also, I wouldn't be opposed to a third of a mil tax increase for the library tax as well. I think maybe we should have done that last year, as it was voted by referendum to do that. So I think that maybe what you're proposing might not be a bad idea to do as well. And that would be $110,000 that would come into the general fund as well, above and beyond what we're set at right now on your budget.
So I think what I'm hearing is we'll still take a look at the garbage increase, whatever those numbers are. Take a look at what the potential savings would be with the police, plus a .333 millage increase.
I think
Is
so.
that what I'm hearing?
I'd like to see that.
On
I
top of-
wouldn't be opposed to that, anyway.
So right now, we're at 10.75, so it would be 11 point,
whatever.
Wait
Is
a
that what I'm
minute.
saying?
Well,
No.
Wait a minute, that's
No.
not my way of thinking.
That's why I wanna get this
It's
straightened
not
out.
my way of thinking, it still remains at 10.75.
It would be a
It's-
third.
Well, I agree with that too, if you're gonna raise the garbage fee,
That's right, it's
We don't want to hit
redistributed.
taxes along.
11.08.
That's what I wanna get
But if you
clarification.
get numbers for the police and garbage,
I'm with the,
you can see that.
I'm with the 10.75, that show the .33.
Of which .33 comes out of the.
Point 333 comes out of it.
So you're not in favor of raising the tax that was voted on by the public?
No,
to
only
support-
because of the
to
garbage
support
fee
the
this year,
library?
I don't wanna hit them
No, he is.
on that.
No,
I thought we were
Just
just
to
looking
show
at,
it, just to show it.
I
Just to
understand.
show it.
So,
Right.
They're not going to 11, they're not going to 11
It
mils.
didn't say that we had to raise taxes, it said that we had to dedicate a third of
Right.
a mill.
Okay.
Dedicated and
All right.
modify.
Right.
Modify is a key word, you're, taking,
But you're gonna look
you're
over the police,
redistributing.
The police-
get numbers.
No,
You're gonna look over the garbage, get numbers, right?
The police,
Well,
the
the
garbage
numbers
where it's
I
at, I'm
proposed,
fine with
I'm
the
hearing
garbage
is to
where it's
reduce
at.
it.
Pardon me?
So I gave you the numbers for garbage, what I think I'm hearing in conjunction with the police to reduce the garbage fee.
No, not in my
Okay,
opinion
I get
either.
clarification.
No, no.
The garbage
No, I wasn't
fee
saying that.
stays the same, the police, I think we need to find, if we go with the police pay freeze, we find other places in the budget where we can put some money, recreation, or maybe a little more in the fire, you know. I mean, it could be things we can, you know, look at needs of what is here.
You put some
from
in
the
the public
savings
works
for-
too.
Public works even, yeah. You know, but that could be spread out, that 50 or 60,000 could be spread out if we do the pay freeze.
you could put the banners up on West Street, Main Street.
I think I factored that in the budget. I think I factored $8,000 for the budget.
So,
Is
See,
there,
what I was thinking on that, 1/3, that we talked about, is the people, I don't think the people would, bitch about that because they voted for it. in the
I agree.
referendum. I mean, if you
I
just
agree.
look while it's still out there, and,
I just don't think there's a need to do
Can't
it.
complain
I
about
think
it.
there is a need to do it.
They will though,
We're,
they're
we're,
gonna complain.
Increasing the garbage.
I understand what you're saying.
we're.
you gotta
we're
put the message out
highest-
here
we're
that the
eighth
millage
highest
will
taxes
remain the
in
same.
county.
That's
10.75, or I ain't signing it, let's put it that way. It's gonna be a 10.75,
Of which,
of which
.333 is dedicated.
.33, whatever it is, comes to
Just show
the
the
library.
0.33.
I agree with you, man.
Garbage
I-
fee, where it's at 180.
We do have budgeted anyway, expenditure of $113,000 a year for the library.
I'd like to see that number first of the, how many people pay up front, the full amount.
A large portion of it, I would
Very
agree.
much.
Bob, what did you say, how many units is our garbage?
I asked legal tax this afternoon, they couldn't give me a number at the time, but I've estimated about 3,500 units.
Actually,
Okay, I thought it was more than that,
Well, we have about 45
yeah.
on our spreadsheet, a lot of vacant properties.
Right,
And then we have some commercial in there that's over and above that, that we don't collect. So it's a conservative
That's
estimate.
great.
Under your maintenance for the building, of the borough building,
Mhm.
do you have any money allocated for the clock? That doesn't work?
Looking at it.
I didn't get that detail, but we can, but no.
It was working recently, wasn't it?
Not the one in the administrative
No,
office?
I'm talking about the
One
big
on the
one
tower.
on the tower. Isn't that working?
Go out and see what time it is.
Okay. I mean, a couple months, last time I looked was been months
I
though. I
wasn't
remember
aware
a
of
couple
that.
months ago
I
it
don't
was
have numbers
on
to
with
look
my,
at for us.
a couple months ago it was, but maybe it's not now.
You think that's the biggest problem in Munhall?
No, but I think it should be working.
People can't tell time.
It's working.
It shows what's going on.
It has been working. I mean, I was working now, but last time I looked it was
Police
working.
on the freeze here, the garbage gonna come up, and you worry about what time it is.
I am worried about the time.
Who's
I
on
think
there?
we should take that clock out of
We
there.
were watching, we're having cell phones, I got the clock on the car.
Last time it broke, how much does it cost to get fixed, you know?
I don't know.
Actually, that,
We
have
did
you
fix it
ever
one
seen
time.
that
I
clock?
think it probably cost about $44,000.
We did fix it one time a few years
Yeah,
back.
it ain't cheap.
It may be broke
I can tell you
again
that.
though, Rick, but we did fix it one time.
It's just a
Big
question
years
I
back.
have.
Big gears on all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad used to adjust it.
There's
I'm not
the
in favor
problem.
Now, if you
There's the problem.
See?
You
See?
You're fixing that.
That could be the problem.
He still has my, what do you call it, Nikon alarm. I gave a Sony to him, brand new.
I'll bring Bring it down, Dave, Ray.
Pick
He
one
was
out.
gonna fix it, that was 15 years ago. I think.
Anybody have any more questions for Bob? There's a couple adjustments we wanna look at. Anything else you'd like to see?
I just wanna go back to the, you said 8,000 for the banners on Main Street, Bob. Now, I have to tell you this in a way of a report. The light-up night, excluding the few strands of lights, which are on here, on the 30, but the entire light-up night cost us $516
Holy cow,
and 18 cents.
that's a lot of money.
And, oh, by the way, wait till I'm done. I got a check from one of our friends from the hospital
Right.
for $500. He handed it to me yesterday.
Well, we still
So,
gotta pay $18.
$16, that's yours to take care of.
And I think that they did a great job on the lighting
Yeah,
and
they
everything, the
really
Borough
did.
building, it looks
And he
fantastic.
put the menorah up too. which,
Oh, good, I
So
didn't
that
see
was up
that.
the next day?
It's up.
It was
They're
on
neat.
Tuesday.
I saw it the next day. yeah.
$18 left over, 16 over,
There you are.
fix his clock.
Mayor, on page 38,
It's
we
not
have
my
holiday decor and dinner, $7,500.
38, what?
Page 38. Holiday decorations
Yeah.
slash dinner, $7,500. I think on Main Street, we're looking at, someone said about what, 12 or 15?
Now, since
Roughly at 200 each.
since we didn't spend any of my money this year, 7,000
For what?
for holiday, I just got done telling you, it cost you $16 and some cents. I wanted that 7,000 from this year put into next year, along with the 8,000 that's budgeted, so that we could do a nice job on that Main Street, on the banners and all Christmas decorations.
Well, I would agree.
Save some of that money,
Keep that money spent.
because a lot of people are bitching about them brick up there.
We'll be
That's-
discussing that on
That's
Wednesday
another
night.
ball.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
Main Street business, that problem.
Yeah,
Anything
ain't
else?
theirs. They turn it over to the people at the front of their place.
Anything else? We've been very, lucky with the increased revenues that have come in. We were pretty aggressive last year when we did the budget, weren't we, Mayor?
Yes,
And it's just been a fortuitous finding to see the revenues come in.
What's
like they
fortuitous?
have.
I know, I was gonna ask
What
that.
does that mean?
Well, it means we've
We've
been
done
very
pretty
lucky.
damn good.
We've been done pretty damn good.
People want
I suggest we do advanced billing again like you did last year.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, let's get them out early.
I wanna commend Bob, because I bother him every damn day, and then he tells me to get out of his office. and-
Last week you were
You
yelling
didn't come
at
in
him, the
today.
lights were out.
I have
That's what he does in there when the lights are out. He does this budget stuff.
If you had come in today, I would have thrown you out.
For me, I flushed.
Yeah.
Right, with that.
Oh, he called me the other day to come down and sign checks, okay? I said, okay, maybe tomorrow, but I got down there anyhow, I'm signing the checks. He said, I'm working on a budget. He said, but I've been getting pulled away with by people like you. I said, you called me?
I was just kidding you, you know.
Do we have anything else before we adjourn the meeting?
No, I'm just,
So we adjourn.
All right, we'll adjourn the budget meeting.
wow,
7:30.
Oh,
It's great,
3 minutes shy of an hour.
great job.
that Frank Nitty tie did it, boy.
And